Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with Calvin. Actually, Monday morning this time, somehow, I think. Is it Tuesday morning? Yeah, Monday morning. Yeah, I actually got it right for once. So, there was no episode last week, which I apologize for. But as I go over things this week, you'll begin to understand why. So, last time I talked about how my dad had terminal cancer. Doctors were giving him 6 months to a year to live. Turns out, they couldn't be more wrong. He had 2 weeks to live, and actually passed away on Friday. So, I'm kind of a bit of a wreck right now, as you can sort of tell. I don't know. Actually, I'm also not even drinking coffee this week. It's tea, which I'll get into why in a bit, because it actually ties into things. So, for the last couple weeks, I've been spending 10 to 12 hours a day in the hospital. This is because some people notice that I'm uploading less, which really shouldn't be surprising. It's actually really hard to play enough video games to actually upload things when I'm spending that much time in the hospital with my father. Good news, so I should hopefully sometime soon get back on track with 4 uploads a day. Which actually is really depressing for me, because I've been receiving a lot of messages complaining that I'm not uploading enough. Which kind of really sucks, because I didn't respond to any of the messages that I got, because I didn't think I could, in any polite way. I just feel like no matter what, I would be an asshole if I did. I don't think I could phrase it politely, anyway. Just my emotional state was... I'm just not capable of answering it, you know? Oh, well, I mean, just as an example here. Lord Calvin on Twitter. Really getting annoyed with these 1-2 videos a day. I keep hoping one day you'll actually finish your wall. Hashtag EU4. Man, just reading that pisses me off. I mean, people didn't know what was going on, but nonetheless. Oh well, I should try and perk up, cheer up. I'm going to be recording videos again. I definitely need to do that. I'm still functioning basically on a backlog right now that I made because I foresaw future events and foresaw this coming. So I've basically been on vacation for the last couple weeks. So I do apologize for that again. I should hopefully be resuming normal upload rate sometime soon. I mean, it's going to mostly... depend on when my throat infection clears up. I'm feeling good enough today that I can record this as long as I'm chugging tea. So, as my dad died, he had a colon cancer initially, which spread to his liver and stuff. And it actually caused tumors to wrap around his stomach, preventing him from eating food, which is really what killed him. Not so much the cancer, so much as inability to ingest food. This also caused him to throw up all of his stomach bile. And of course, you know, I was sitting at the bedside, changing bins, out and inhaled a bunch of this bile. So I went to go see the doctor about this yesterday. It's like, hey doctor, I think I have a throat infection. And he, you know, does the thing, tongue depressor, He goes, wow, the back of your throat's really red. And, you know, he has his arm there, it's like, your mucous membrane seems pretty worn down. Have you been drinking battery acid by chance? He didn't actually say battery acid. He's like, have you been around any extremely acidic chemicals lately? And I responded with, I've been inhaling stomach acid? And he just kind of looked at me funny. He's like, does that count? And he just kind of said, yeah. So as it turns out, I managed to get myself a throat infection because my mucous membrane is no longer existent in the back of my throat. Much better. So, fun fact, I currently have a throat infection. I'm getting better, I'm doing my best to, and should hopefully be able to resolve things. That's more or less where where I've been the last 2 weeks. More tea. And, yeah. So, you'll also notice there's no green screen behind me anymore. With my father gone, me and my brother effectively now own the house, because it was left to us jointly. So, I have the ability to rearrange furniture. And I'm going to probably be moving my recording setup somewhere else. somewhere more conducive than the basement. I mean, I like the basement and all. It's just not very sound dead, so I feel like it doesn't sound quite as good as I can make it. This is just my conjecture. Back when I was recording in my room, I feel like my sound was a lot better. Just baseless conjecture on my part. So I'm gonna get something set up. Yeah. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me. For those of you counting, I've never actually, lived on my own before. So I've been in shock the last little while trying to figure out how to do shopping, how to do bills, how to do various things. Yeah, I've just sort of been thrown out in the world like, hey, hope you know how the fuck you're doing. And I got my brother and shit, but he lives an hour away, so, you know, I can mostly just consult him for help. Unfortunately, I've run out of tea now. Like I said, I pretty much have to chug tea. Otherwise, my throat infection starts getting really painful. I don't know if there's enough tea for me to chug at this point, to be able to record yet, but I'm hoping soon I'll be able to. And, soon then I'll be changing locations. Got myself a nice new desk, and all sorts of other stuff that I totally didn't steal from my father's old office, because I don't think he's going to be needing it anymore. You know, I may seem less broken up about this than I should be, because in reality I've known that this was going to happen for like the last month. It was a lot quicker than I expected, which kind of did sort of a jab, but I've been sort of mentally prepared for this for a while now, so I'm not too concerned about my emotional state. I think I'll handle it fine. I mean, I handled it alright when my mom died of cancer when I was 13. I can handle my dad dying of cancer when I'm 22. There you go. Ooh. And I'm somewhat shaven this week. I haven't shaved since Friday, though. So, yeah, that's pretty much how my last couple of weeks have been. In other news... Actually, I don't really think there's much other news. So, let's tell a story. So, I've talked about before how my school board is rather quite incompetent. Okay, that's just the AC turning on. See, that's another reason why I want to move out of the basement. You guys can totally hear this. Yeah, you guys can totally hear it. But, if I move out of the basement, that should go away. Alright. This is, so let's tell a story. This was grade 12. In actually my computer engineering class. Yeah, I remember this now. So, there's this kid, Middle Eastern kid. His name was Nakib or something. Anyway, he was a guy who loved to bully me, as a decent number of kids did. As it turns out, kids are assholes. Yeah. But, here's an interesting one. So, guy walks up to me, and he goes to... He pulls out a knife, holds it up to me like this. And I'm just like, whoa, calm the fuck down, calm the fuck down. And he talks about how he's going to cut me. Going to cut the living shit out of me into tiny-ass cubes. Those were his words. He's gonna cut me into tiny-ass cubes. And mind you, at the time, I was actually concerned he would do it because he had the typical telltale bloodshot eyes, I just smoked pot before I came to class kind of thing. Yeah. Unsurprisingly, the kind of people who ended up bullying me were also the kind of people who ended up doing shit like that. The two tend to go hand in hand. I don't know. Anyway, so the teacher's watching this, by the way. So was like half the class at this point. Like the class just dead dropped silent. As everyone just kind of noticed that Nakib pulled a fucking knife on me in front of the whole class and the teacher. Everyone just watching, like, what the fuck happens now? And Nakib, not even realizing, I might have realized people were watching, and that's why he did it, he just put the knife away, put it in his pocket, and walked away. And I just look over at the teacher. Teacher just, like, grabs him, And he goes, "You're going right to the fucking office. Right? Office now." Yeah, I'm just like, and I'm terrified at that point. It's like, holy shit. A guy high on a psychedelic drug just pulled a knife on me. Kind of like, wow, that could have ended very badly, sort of things. But I mean, generally, if a knife is pulled on you, it's going to end very badly. So I should consider myself lucky I came away from that so unscathed. But, he comes back to class an hour later. And the officer said, yeah, you can go back to class. He just has to pick up his knife at the end of the day. Remember how I talked about how incompetent my school board is? So, kid pulls a knife on you. Threatens you with it. Threatens your life. And has picked up his knife at the end of the day. That's a story, isn't it? I'm still a bit scarred about it. Yeah. I remember that. Like, just the moment with him with holding a knife at me very vividly. I ended up trying to talk to the vice principal about this shit. He was like, Vice principal didn't care. You know, tried to raise it to the principal. Raised it to the superintendent. Because, you know, I wasn't letting that shit die. He pulled a fucking knife on me. I wanted to file a police report, almost, but my dad wouldn't let me. He was like, go through the school board. They'll solve it. They'll solve it. School board didn't solve it. Literally went to the superintendent to try and get shit done about this, but nothing happened. Not even a fucking suspension. Like, it's actually funny because what they did ended up was actually a punishment for me. They started sending me to see the school shrink. He was supposed to evaluate as to whether or not I would be potentially going to shoot up the school. Because they were worried about that. Yeah, they sent me to the fucking psych. I want to say my school board's incompetent, but I really feel like they were just lazy as shit. And we're really only doing something if it meant that, you know, there would be... I don't know. I can't even understand what was going through my fucking school board's fucking administrative bullshit bureaucracy, but either way, they were probably the most incompetent one ever. Yeah. Moral of the story is, school isn't always there to help you. There's another one where 3 people pulled me into a bathroom, like on a security camera. They had security camera footage of 3 people grabbing me and dragging me into a bathroom. They then walk out about 2 minutes later, and I just sort of like limp out, bruised, battered, and beaten, and go to the office. They pulled the security tape. Principal looks at it, goes, "Yep. Like, I'll call him in, have a talk with him." He called them in, had a talk with them, and they weren't even suspended for it. Like, I walked out of it with ice packs, like holding 2 ice packs out of the office, just because, like, you know, I was going. It was not one of many times I've just been jumped. Yeah. So, my school board, not the most competent people. I can say that much. School administration was like the most lax shit ever. Like, you could get away with everything short of blue bloody murder. I don't really have anything to add to that. That's just how bad it is. Oh, man. You ever wonder why I'm fucked up as I am? Man, I dealt with way more shit than I should have had to. Oh, man. I don't know enough about European school boards to, you know, say anything about them. But I know in America, like, I can think of probably things that happened that would have resulted in 30 expulsions. 30 students being expelled. If it was an American school board. Which I almost wish it was. I mean, they tend to be pretty stupid in their own right, with their zero-tolerance policies, but at least they fucking punish people. I don't know if other school boards in Canada are like mine, but, yeah. Yeah. That's a story of just how retarded my school board was. And I have more stories to tell about how retarded they are. And will probably come up at some point next week. But for now, I'm going to end today's episode here. So thank you everybody for watching Monday Morning Tea with Slightly Sick Calvin. I've been your lovely host, Calvin, signing off.